Well, following on the news that broke this morning, in fact, actually last night on social media, that Onchan School was now a place of interest for the trace and tracking team. Julie Edge, one of the MHKs at Onchan, what's this all about? I mean, you're quite concerned, aren't you, about the time this has taken?
Yeah, I'm really concerned that we're not getting information out quick enough for people. I'm concerned, and I hope everybody that at Onchan School is okay. Obviously, there's been some positive tests, but on news releases and that, we're just not getting the individual information. We don't want personal data. We just want to know where this virus is. We know it's the Kent variant now, and everybody needs to be cautious anyway. But I think it helps people if they are aware of exactly venues that have positive tests.
Well, some might say it's now so long since the lockdown that it probably makes no difference. Although I think I brought up particularly about why they're not identifying anywhere. I mean, obviously, some of those places could be shops, places where people are still going to for whatever reasons, and we're not getting any information. So have you put pressure on Mr. Quayle and co to release more information?
Yes, definitely. There's a number of backbenchers, certainly myself, Mrs. Kane for Garth and Mr. Morehouse, were saying we don't want personal information. We just want information and data so that the public are aware and can make their own choices then, and also look out for symptoms. I know they're saying any symptom you should phone 111, and totally agree with that. But people might think, oh, I've just got a cold. And I think it's really important. Data is key to eliminating any virus. And obviously, concerns. Schools closed last Wednesday for most students, but certainly the hub schools were still continuing till Friday. I think it would be helpful to know if there's new cases in schools now, were they from the hub school environment or were they from the whole school environment? Because that, again, is critical in a school environment.
You're getting briefed, aren't you, before we get briefed as such, when there's a press conference? Are you getting what you want out of that at all?
We were certainly getting briefed. It hasn't continued at the present time. I have just received an invite for a briefing tomorrow, which is good to see. I think closing down on doing the briefings has not been helpful to the public. We need to be confident that we're going out there with the correct information, the correct statistics, and keeping the public updated and informed of any changes.
What did you make to the state TV, but it almost is like that. It was put on by government, it was run by government yesterday, looking to move forward and the roadmap. Do you think those programmes should be done like that, or do you think they should be more open to journalists to ask questions? I know James is a journalist, but he was asked to do that just to front the programme, I believe.
I think the public need access to being able to ask questions. They certainly have that access in other jurisdictions. We see it regularly on Westminster, that the journalists are asking questions that the public have put to them. Unless you give the public open access to questions and to answers, they're still going to, we don't want people making their own minds up. We want factual, accurate information with statistics coming out of the government.
You made a couple of big sort of questions, announcements in the House of Keys the other day. Would you like to take us through what you were saying, the highlights?
Well, certainly, we had our lockdown in January, and I've been raising concerns since the case at Ballacameen, and that was reported on the 19th of February. However, I'm aware that that case was possibly known at half term. In fact, it was known at half term, and I think it was a news item on the 12th of February that said the Ballacameen had been identified. What's really concerned me is that have we not taken the right action at the right time, knowing, and certainly in the briefing yesterday, I think it was confirmed, or certainly the question was asked, and middle of February for the Kent strain, Now, bearing in mind that everybody knows how contagious the Kent strain is, and the UK was saying that. However, their children were not in school when they had the Kent strain, and I think that's the significant difference for us on the island.
Have you got confidence in how this has all been handled? I mean, you've obviously raised your concerns there about information, but I mean, some people are saying it's time for a change, direction, different leadership. What do you think?
Certainly, I don't feel there's been great leadership. I'm not saying that we should be changing en masse, but there's clearly been, I feel, an error of judgment within school closures. I feel they should have been sooner. Certainly, MHK then sort of broke out, and then we had the weekend of the 28th of February, and everybody we couldn't do legislation quickly. Now that really does alarm a number of us. And then go about your business freely on the Monday. Everybody goes into school on the Monday, on the Sunday. Sorry, they might go about your business. Everybody goes into school on the Monday, and then lockdown. So clearly that weekend I think was key. I think there was 2 community cases, and previously in January I think we had a full lockdown at 2 community cases, but for some reason that action wasn't taken that weekend.
Have you been surprised that the Chief Minister has sort of kept to the line that it was a 3-week lockdown when I think everyone else was clearly saying, well, how can you say that when we haven't got the peak of the numbers? It might be today, of course. The peak might be today, and the clock could start ticking downwards. But do you see 3 weeks as a possibility?
I think, and that's the problem, we don't know when this peak's going to be because we're still seeing rising numbers every day. The Chief Minister, I assume, is only acting on factual statistics he's receiving. The whole of the Council of Ministers must be all getting that, and they're making decisions. Have they made decisions in line with what's been recommended by public health, or has decisions been made outside of that? We do need to move forward, Paul. Everybody wants to see that there is some light at the end of the tunnel with this. We need to get the vaccines in arms and out of the fridges, and make sure we've got as many people as protected as possible. And again, we're not following the JCVI guidelines on the second dose. It's certainly been recommended now up to 12 weeks, and I believe we're doing it at 10. So these are all differences in the island. However, we're dealing with the same strain of a virus. When we've been fully open and our schools were open, the UK were in a different position. The UK's now got South African strain. We've also got the Brazilian strain. And the public need to have the confidence that the island is reacting and looking forward. People say we can't go back. You have to go back because there's been some errors along the way here. And the public need the facts. However, they also want to see when will the island be open? When will this lockdown be finished? People have got financial strains, and it's difficult for them at this time.
You mentioned a few MHKs earlier. Have you got a sort of grouping now? Is this like, are you having meetings yourselves? Are you sort of forced to be reckoned with? Or do you think really Coman can just do what they want to do at the minute still?
No, certainly there's always been a group of us that have worked closely together. I'm sure people can identify who those groups are. And we certainly are making representation in groups. You can still make representation on your own, and to be fair to the Chief Minister, he does respond when he can. However, as a group, we need to be going forward and making sure that our input is in any decisions going forward. I think that's been a bit of a gap. As I say, we have got another briefing tomorrow, and I think that is the way forward, that we do need to be speaking and having access to the Chief Minister and the ministers.
Finally, that roadmap, what do you think to the performance? I think it was Claire Barber said it was a pre-recorded event that was put out yesterday. What do you think to that, and what do you actually think to what it says within that brochure?
I'm concerned, Paul, as to what input there has been for that document. I know it was promised. Sometimes I feel it would be better to delay publishing a document if it's not quite right. Certainly, it's a starting point. It's not. It needs to be altered. It's too big. We need a small, concise document that is easily articulating where we're going. And obviously the key to all of this is data. If you've got good, accurate data, you could say, well, in 4 weeks' time, we will do this. However, at the minute, I think data seems to be the struggle, and people are not getting that data.